Hello fish fools, Jeff here. So once again, here's my 10-gallon quarantine tank. And I am showing this right now because I'm going to be adding new fish to it. I just went to Petco and picked up some new fish, snails, and plants. And before I show those, we'll go through a quick run through of the fish we have in here. So mostly platies from a recent platy binge from various Petcos that I went to. So we have black red-tailed varieties platies. There's a pair in here. That's the male. That's the female. There's red-tailed Dalmatian platies. There's a green lantern platy with a couple awesome red markings on its tail. And red tiger platies. There's one that has both Mickey Mouse and wagtail. And another couple other red tiger platies, and just a straight up red wagtail platy. And from PetSmart, last week I got a pair of these Sankey swordtails. So the male, the female's down there somewhere. And there's 3 of these blue spotted corydoras. Oh, there's a good looking one. And I did get a couple of mono shrimp. They're in here somewhere. Since I got them, I've only seen one of them once since. But I figure they're probably still in here. And there's a black swordtail Siamese alligator that I already had. I just left it in here, and permanent resident red tail or red eye tetra. Yeah, and a blue Mickey Mouse platy. Another blue Mickey Mouse platy with black wagtail fins. Alright, so that's what I have in here already. Of all those fish, most of them were, as they are, looking great. I did lose a few of them, which is part of the reason I went to Petco today, because they do have a 30-day return policy for dead fish. So that was like 2 weeks ago, so 2 weeks later, like the red gara, the doctor fish that I had, I lost that the first day, and some of the tiger platies. So it's one of the reasons why I was there, and I might kind of go down a little tangent of why I also was in that area today, but yeah. But let's check out what we have. So 2 species of fish, 2 species of plants, and 1 species of snail. So we'll start with this bag. That's just one lone female sailfin molly. So in my 29-gallon swordtail community tank, I had put a pair of sailfin mollies that I had, a male and a female. So just a pair. And this one was looking nice and plump. I'm probably pregnant already. So make it a trio instead of a pair. And even the one female that I have now was looking a little bit on the skinny side. So I don't know if it's because that tank is so crowded with swordtails and other fish that it wasn't eating much, or if it's sickly or what. But the male in there is looking good, and yeah, really just wanted to make it a trio to have a backup plan, because I would like to get some babies. Alright, and the other species of fish. Pygmy corydoras. So I just got 6 of these. I have had, and I still have some in my 10-gallon tank that was my guppy antler hybrid tank, that now is going to be the red tiger platy tank. I got a couple females in there right now, and the rest of these are going to go in there. And I still have maybe a couple, at least one or maybe a few in my 3.5 gallon tank. And these are actually the first corydoras that I got to spawn, or that I saw that I had eggs, and I collected eggs and hatched them out the first time, and collected 8 eggs, 8 hatched out. This was like 2 years ago, and of those, only one of them lived to about 2 months, and I moved it to another tank, and it did end up disappearing. So, I mean, it's possible that some of the ones that I still have were bred in the tanks that they're in and are not the originals, but I think what I want to do this time, because these are really fun to watch swim together. They kind of school or shoal mid-water. I mean, most corydoras, they do swim around together, but they kind of go up and down, kind of hover the bottom. But these will kind of swim mid-water, and they're cool to watch. So I have a 5.5 gallon that has not had fish in it for quite a while, and I have been planning on using that as a grow-out tank for corydoras. Like if I collect eggs, what I had been doing was collecting them and just putting them in a breeder box in the same tanks that I collected the fish in, but I was going to clean up that 5.5 gallon and use that to just move the eggs to and let the eggs hatch out in there and raise them. But I think that's where these pygmy corydoras will go by themselves, and then I will also just throw eggs in there as I collect eggs from other corydoras. I'll try that. That's the plan anyway, but until then, I'll spend a little time in this quarantine tank. Alright, so that's it for fish. And then in this bag, so right here on the front you can see the label, bacopa monnieri, moneywort. And I actually just recently, I'm going to go down a little tangent on this, I recently realized that this is the same plant that is known as brahmi, and I may try to eat it. This is if you're familiar with wellness and nootropics, this is pretty commonly used as supplements for brain power. So I think ginkgo and lion's mane. So that's actually one of the things, lion's mane, totally off topic, but lion's mane, that's one of the reasons why I went to this Petco today, because I'd like to do, if I'm going in one area, I can do multiple things. So there's a Whole Foods there, and that's where I go to get my lion's mane. I get the actual mushrooms instead of supplements. Kind of sucked, they didn't have any, but that's one of the reasons I go there. But that's another thing. I think bacopa has similar health benefits. Whether you can straight up eat it or what, I'm gonna research that. But I was kind of thinking of doing that. It is one of my favorite aquarium plants. I've had it in other tanks, and one of my tanks is doing well, not really growing much, and kind of hanging on in a couple of the other tanks. But I have had this grow well before, but I wanted to do that and maybe look into harvesting it to ingest it. But I gotta figure that out anyway. Anyway, that's off topic, but also in here are Japanese trapdoor snails. I've had these before. I was kind of thinking when I had them before that they could possibly become my favorite snail, because they are cool looking with the turquoise, and I've had babies, but they still didn't last long and died off. But if I was able to get them to breed and reproduce and spread them out to different tanks, I was thinking they could possibly be my favorite snail. But possibility could still be the case. They are cool, but hopefully I can get some babies out of them, and they can they can last. And also in here is a, let's see it better. Do you recognize those leaves? Those are the leaves of a crinum calamistratun, the onion plant. So I just happened to see one of these floating in one of their tanks at Petco, and they were selling it for $10, which is pretty cheap to find a crinum. And even then, just to find them, previously I've only been able to order them online. I have two awesome crinums in my 84 gallon, and I had one other that did not actually last in my 40 gallon, so maybe I'll put that in one of my 40 gallons and try that again. Yeah, so those are the new fish. And now that I have these, I haven't added any of the quarantine medications to this quarantine tank yet. You know, purposely holding off in case I might get some more fish, but now I have these. I'm going to add those quarantine meds, and then from there, at a minimum, give it a week before I can move them to other tanks. And as is usually the case, it ends up stretching out a little longer, but better to be on the longer side than the shorter side, I think. But yeah. Alright, so those are the new fish, and the current fish still in quarantine. Nice mix of fish here. Alright, well that's it for now. And remember, I'm Jeff, and I enjoy fishies. Thanks for watching.